Hello and welcome, and thank you for showing some interest into my brand new program and online community called the Rehab Essentials. So this is a program and a community for all those who work with people with musculoskeletal pains and problems that I have developed after speaking to many of you and hearing that a lot of you wanted some help in improving your skills of patient communication, relationship building, navigating healthcare misinformation, and reading and understanding the research a little bit better. All things that I have developed over my 30-year career as a physiotherapist and a strength and conditioning coach. So the Rehab Essentials program is going to focus on these key areas, but it is also going to grow and expand every month with me adding new topics based on the feedback and the requests from the community. There will also be regular one-to-one meetings where members can attend live and ask me questions, or just come along and chat and interact with myself or the other members of the Rehab Essentials community. Now, I have already been overwhelmed with the number of applications for this project so far, but I do think many of you want to know a little bit more about what you'll be getting, and so I have decided to give you a little taster of the Rehab Essentials course in these free short videos. The first one today is about one of the most commonly asked questions I get by nearly every healthcare professional I meet, and that is, how can I stay up to date with the research a bit better? Now, there are lots of ways that you can be better informed and stay up to date with research, as well as lots of ways to read and critically analyse the research a bit better, all of which I'll be going through in much more detail in the Rehab Essentials program. But today, I just want to give you one simple, easy little tip that I think goes a long way in helping you stay better informed with the research, and that is to simply read more research journal abstracts much more regularly. Now, I will bet that you have been told in the past by your university professors or teachers, as well as perhaps other course educators and clinicians in the past, to not only read journal abstracts. I know I have. I can remember as a young physiotherapy student many years ago now, being told many times by many different tutors to never read abstracts. In fact, some even told me to ignore them completely and to only ever read the whole journal article itself. And I still hear this advice being given to many therapists regularly. However, I think this is complete and utter bullshit advice. And I think it's naive and unhelpful for most clinicians to be told not to read abstracts. I actually recommend the complete opposite. And I think all healthcare professionals need to read a lot more abstracts a lot more often. Because I think the positives of reading abstracts more hugely outweighs any potential negatives. I do understand why some people say don't only read journal abstracts, because abstracts do often present information in a very biased and incomplete way. But newsflash, people, bias and incomplete information is not only seen in the research abstracts, it's also seen in the methods, the results, and the discussion sections as well. Spin and bias in research is everywhere, not just abstracts. Trying to keep up to date with the latest research is incredibly difficult, just like it's incredibly difficult trying to keep up to date with all the news that's going on in the world. And I think trying to keep up to date with the research is very similar to trying to keep up to date with all the latest news and current affairs going on around the globe. To help us keep up to date with the news and current affairs, we often read newspapers, or more commonly these days, news websites, to help keep us informed. However, when you read a newspaper or a news website, no one, and I mean no one, reads every word, cover to cover, or top to bottom of the web page. Instead, what we tend to do is we browse and skim the pages, looking at the headlines and opening paragraphs of the articles to see if it piques our interest to go and read the article in more depth. This is exactly how we should be reading research. We need to check the headlines and opening paragraphs first before deciding if it's worth committing some of our precious and finite time and energy to go and read and analyse an article fully. As I've already said, trying to keep up to date with the latest research is incredibly difficult. In fact, I will go as far to say is that it's impossible. And I think the number one reason for this is just due to the sheer amount of papers that are published every day, with some estimates placing it around 16,000 papers published every day. With this number of articles being pumped out, it can make it extremely difficult to even be first aware of a relevant paper of interest, as it can often get lost and swamped in the sheer volume of publications that are out there. This is also why scanning the headlines and abstracts is useful. Scanning abstracts allows you to see a lot of publications in a short space of time, and it can mean that you are less likely to miss important and relevant publications. I scan a metric shit ton of abstracts every week, probably about 10 a day, maybe totaling 50 to 60 a week, and I find it a really useful and simple and time-efficient strategy to keep abreast of a lot of information in a short period of time with a relatively low amount of cognitive effort. Reading a lot of abstracts also keeps me abreast of the trends in the research. It allows me to notice which areas of research work is being done more on and which areas less work is being published and pushed out. Reading abstracts also allows me to sift through a lot of crap research in my general area of interest of painful shoulders. And it helps me avoid wasting a lot of my precious spare time and energy in reading a whole article cover to cover, only to be hugely disappointed at the end. Once you can appraise research a little bit better, you can often tell just from scanning an abstract if an article is biased, sketchy, or dubious, and not worth your time reading it fully. However, I will admit that when I do read a sketchy or dubious abstract, this does sometimes pique my interest into going to read the whole article, because sometimes I want to see what kind of tricks and games the authors have been playing at to arrive at their far-fetched conclusions and statements in an abstract. So please don't let anyone tell you that you should only read abstracts. This is bullshit advice. As I said, my advice is to actually start doing the exact opposite and start reading more abstracts more often. And consider it just like reading the headlines in a newspaper, where you're constantly keeping an eye out for things that are of interest to you or things that just sound too good to be true. When you do see something of interest or something that is too good to be true, that's when you go and read the full article and critically review and appraise it, which can be difficult and challenging to do, but it will also be something I'll be going through in much more detail on the Rehab Essentials course. So, there you go. That's my reasons why I think more people should be reading abstracts more. So let me know in the comments below this video if you've been told to not only read abstracts, and let me know what you think about my suggestion of doing the exact opposite and reading abstracts more often, and whether you think this is a good idea or not. I also hope this short video has given you a little taster of what to expect on my Rehab Essentials course, and that you'll go and check it out. Or at least this has whetted your appetite for another small taster video that will be coming very soon.